because I've been hitting the pavement. And about a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, when I had this crazy idea to run for Brooklyn D.A, it was about core issues facing the 2.8 million people of Brooklyn. And the core issues that we're talking about is resonating at an amazing rate if you open up the papers on a daily basis. And what were the reasons that I jumped in this race? Well, it was about wrongful convictions. It was about people that were sitting in jail for over 20 years only to find out that the prosecutor got it wrong. It was about situations and cases where prosecutors were withholding Brady information. It was about political corruption. It was about our DA that refused to go after Joe Hines because, our DA was refused to investigate Vito Lopez because he was a friend. What else was it about? It was about this alarming rate of our Brooklyn leading the city in homicides and shootings, and the DA's office allowing abusive policies like stop and frisk to lead the way. It was about equality. It was about how we're handling sex abuse cases in certain communities, how there were different rules based upon the neighborhood you're in. And folks, a year later, all of those issues still resonate, right? Aren't we seeing this on a daily basis out there? And then that's why we're running. And I'm proud to say that through the course of this campaign, we've led the discussion on big issues, on stop and frisk. Look, it's a very controversial position for a prosecutor, a law enforcement officer to say, hey, NYPD, you got it wrong on this particular policy. That the way you're practicing stop and frisk is racial profiling, and we need to end that. We took a very controversial position with marijuana. Well, I don't think it's controversial, but have you heard a law enforcement officer say that we need to decriminalize marijuana? Have you heard that, folks? Well, I've been sitting in the Manhattan DA's office for the last eight years, and I've seen that this war on marijuana is not a war we're winning, and it's not a war we should be fighting. We should be devoting our resources to fighting violent crime. So that's why at day one as district attorney, if you've got a small amount of marijuana in plain view, we're going to treat it like a violation, the way it should be treated, not as a crime. During my last debate, Joe Hines was sitting right next to me, about where this young man was sitting right now. And he said his office doesn't prosecute small amounts of marijuana.
Lie. That's a lie.
And you know what? I said it, he was a liar. All right, a lot was made about me calling him a liar, and I wasn't saying to be disrespectful, but when your public rhetoric doesn't face what your office is doing, someone's got to call what it is, right? Folks, in the last 4 years, Joe Hines has prosecuted over 6,000 convictions for marijuana. That's what his office has been doing. And let's put this all in perspective. Our last 3 presidents have had issues with drugs. Let's say for a second, they were on the streets of Brooklyn, they were illegally stopped and frisked, marijuana was recovered from their pocket and put out on the table, and they were charged with a crime. Can you imagine what their lives would be like? Would they have had the opportunities they had with the criminal record? Chris, great point. You had to screw up this whole speech, Chris. Okay. Didn't Meatloaf say 2 out of 3 ain't bad? So, what I'm saying, folks, is that the collateral consequences are huge. I think that every child in Brooklyn should have an opportunity to one day be president. And I think that a district attorney should question policies and why we're taking that kind of enforcement. Look, one of the other things, I'm not going to talk all night, one of the other things our campaign has led a discussion on is condoms as evidence. For a long time, people have been stopped, frisked illegally, and when condoms were recovered, if you had 3 or more condoms, they charge you for lawyering for prostitution. So our campaign, once again, took a very controversial position and said condoms should not be used as evidence in prosecution. We published an article in the Village Voice, and sure enough, our friend Joe Hines agreed with us. Because 2 weeks later, he said his office is not going to use condoms as evidence. How we're going to attack wrongful convictions. I've said publicly, we need a committee of people that have been wrongfully accused, of judiciary and defense bar, to sit and look at these cases, to figure out if mistakes were made. And what did Joe Hines do 2 weeks ago? He did the same thing. You know, I'd love to give Joe Hines more ideas, but I think I can do a better job sitting there as Brooklyn District Attorney. So I'm going to wrap this up, folks, but look, one of the ways we've gotten these 20,000 signatures is partnerships throughout Brooklyn. And I'd like to highlight some people that are here tonight. First of all, Prince Lewis, who I see standing right in front of me. Prince is the city councilman that's running out in East New York. Am I correct, Prince?
Yes, sir.
All right, and Prince had his soldiers on the ground. He was carrying our petition and got us quite a few signatures. Prince, I appreciate that. Take a chance to come over and meet Prince, hear what his campaign's about. But thank you, Prince, I appreciate that. Where's Natraj Bhushan? Where's my friend? Natraj Bhushan is a city councilman that we teamed up with in Sheepshead Bay. Folks, this is how you win a race in Brooklyn. You team up with city council candidates on the ground. Natraj Bhushan is a bright young lawyer that is running for city council in Sheepshead Bay. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's right. That's where my mom lives, so take good care of her, right?
That's right.
And Natraj has had his soldiers on the ground for the last couple of weeks helping us. Natraj, thank you very much. Is there anyone else out here tonight that I don't see and I'm missing? Any other city council candidates? Anyone else running for office? Anthony, are you running for office?
Not yet.
Okay, good. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Folks, listen, we can't get this done without you. We've got 60 days left. What does that mean? I've got to be all over Brooklyn. That means I got to wake up in the morning about 5:30, hit a subway station. And Rama, you know what that means? That means one morning, you got to wake up and join me at that subway. Shake some hands with me. Evenings, we're going to evening subway stations. Saturdays and Sundays, if you have time, come to our office. Where's Kevin Clemency? Where's Kevin? That big man right there. See, I hired him because he's the biggest guy in the room, and that's the guy that's running the campaign right now. And Kevin, if you have time to volunteer, stop and see Kevin. We need you for phone banking. We need you for door knocking. We need you to come with me to events that we're going to. Saturday and Sunday, I'm going all over Brooklyn. We need people with me. Thank you so much for your money, because I couldn't have done this without your money either. And there's a ton of money that was raised here tonight because of you folks. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your support. Chris, once again, thank you. Hope McCallany, who's not here, he's having a great time trying to thank you wherever you are. And we're going to win in September. I'm confident the next 60 days we're here to ground. With your support, with your prayers, we're going to do it. I'm going to have to take Brooklyn and the next